The conquest of the New World. Coming out from the dark, Europe is a lagging area, dependent on a rural farming economy. The expansion of Christian lands becomes urgent. Warlords like Musid become decisive in forging identity. Later, the expansion moved to lands outside of Europe limits. The First Crusade, in the end of 11th century, whose objective was to regain control of the Christian lands lost to the Muslim advance and keep open trade routes with the East. More than 100,000 men would leave the Languedoc region for the Holy Land to heed the call of that First Crusade, led by Raymond IV de Toulouse, which would be joined by knight warriors from West Spain, such as Pedro González de Lara. With the taking of the Holy Land and trade routes with the East secured, a commitment is made to the transfer of people and money. At that moment, the Gothic was born in the Gauche region in French Occitan zone. The construction of monumental cathedrals attracted thousands of visitors and workers to cities such as Paris, Saint-Étienne, or Chartres. Constructions that were promoted by the Cistercian and Cluny orders with the financing of the Jewish merchants, whose high interest would be paid with the offerings of the faithful men and the increase in taxes on land and goods. This relationship will cause a discord between the parties. What will produce greater profits, technological or theological knowledge? Thus would arise the great restrictive order of the Dominicans, in charge of repressing any scientific or economic advance, which he branded as heresy, and collecting them for the church. Their sister, the Franciscan order, in addition to their evangelizing mission, they were in charge of reverse engineering what was confiscated by Dominicans. His main contribution removed the hieratic of the knowledge which they spread from the big European universities. At west of the Christian domains, new military orders come to light to protect their possessions against the persecution of the papacy. These orders functioned as trust companies who could defend the rights of the settlers, either by reason or by arms. Meanwhile, the Jews in France saw how the church was surrounding their way of life until the disaster of Languedoc with the so-called Albigensian Crusade, which brought desolation to those lands just 100 years after the first expedition to Holy Land. The confrontation between the armies of Crusaders, subjects of King Philip of France, against the forces of the Counts of Toulouse and their vassals provoked the intervention of the Kingdom of Aragon, which culminated in the death of Pedro II at the Battle of Muret.